Hey there, it's Chris from Good Roads, and your boy has been hard at work completely redesigning my 3D printable fingerboard press. And I gotta say, I think I've improved it in every way possible. I've come up with a modular system that allows for a variety of interchangeable mold options, and I can only begin to imagine the possibilities for all the diminutive decks that could be made with this setup. Today I'm releasing my first series of 3 molds, a standard street-style geometry with variations for flat concave, radial concave, and tub concave. Print files for these presses and the presses themselves are available right now over at goodroadscollective.com/shop. The molds are 36mm wide and can press blanks up to 105mm long. They have built-in drilling guides for truck mounting holes at a 42mm wheelbase, and as you'll see, you can cut the blanks into whatever shape you want. Let me tell you a little bit about just how much the design has improved. There were 2 big shortcomings of the original free version of this press. The mold halves didn't quite mate properly, and the clamping mechanism lacked power. Getting the molds to match better wasn't too taxing. All 3 variations of the updated press have the offsets just right to give an even clamping pressure for a standard 5-ply deck. Increasing the clamping force, on the other hand, is something I sunk a ton of effort into. I started with the threaded posts. These are the old ones, and these are the new ones. They are much beefier, stronger parts. They're a larger diameter, they have better, stronger threads, and are generally much better thought out than their predecessors. Just like the old version, they're designed to be printed laying down so that the strength of the layer lines is reinforcing the threads instead of making it a weak point. But unlike the old version, the threads now wrap around the backside of the post, giving a good 30 to 40% more space for the post to engage with the knobs to clamp the molds together. And speaking of threads, let's take a look at those because I put a lot of work into improving them. The old threads were just standard threads that were pre-generated by Fusion 360. They're tiny, they have thin cross sections, and a low pitch angle, and all of that means they're finicky to print, finicky to work with, and that you just can't clamp them down that hard. I've designed the new threads completely from scratch to fix all of those issues. They are beefy, and they have a trapezoidal cross section similar to a machine screw, so the threads will be nice and strong. I increased the pitch of the threads, which reduces the overhang angles and means that the threaded section of the inside of the press knob prints cleanly and consistently every time, and that increased pitch angle allowed me to double up on the number of threads in the press. This double helix provides more surface area for the threads to engage with each other and greatly increases the amount of clamping force available. The knobs are much larger, covering the full width of the press and giving you more leverage to squeeze everything down tight, and all of this makes for a press that can clamp down impressively hard and is really, really strong. I have tried to break it. I have not been able to. The drilling guides have added details to make them easier to print, each mold is debossed with its concave profile, and generally I just think these are much more aesthetically pleasing and nicer to use. So what say we make some boards? I'm using some mixed hardwood fingerboard veneer I found on eBay by just searching for fingerboard veneer, and a standard PVA-based wood glue. Presses are easy enough to use. You spread glue on both sides of all the seams between your layers, move your layup to the press, and crank it down as hard as you can. If you're too impatient for a brush, a finger also works fine for spreading glue. I got impatient with that too, and it was also really messy, so I made myself a little miniature glue roller that worked much better. If this is something you'd like to get a hold of, let me know, and I'll work it up and try to get it in the shop. I found that 2 days is the magic number for letting the blank cure, and once your waiting is done, you can use the built-in drilling guides to drill your truck holes. And then crack open the press, revealing your blanks. Interesting, interesting. They all came out good. Then it's just a matter of shaping, adding art, and a finish. and you got yourself a sweet DIY fingerboard. And I am super happy with how these came out. It was really fun to nerd out about thread design and clamp design and come up with something that can really squeeze everything down as tight as it needs to be. And it doesn't end there. I can imagine mold sets for longboards, for old school boards, for powder surfers, for really anything. So whatever kind of variation you'd like to see, let me know down below and I will continue to develop molds that work with this system. But right now, right out of the gate, you've got options for what style of concave you want. So let's get you a press and let's get you making the kind of boards that you want to make. Did a little research and the print on demand services want anywhere from 60 United States dollars all the way up to some really absurd prices for something as simple as this. And as always, I think we can do a little bit better than that. You can grab any one of these 3 presses right now over at goodroadscollective.com for 45 bucks. In addition to all the refinement that I got into getting my print settings right so that the parts would be strong enough and would distribute the clamping force properly, I'm also using a modified PLA that makes the threads much stronger and also much smoother and easier to use. But that added functionality of the material comes at a slightly higher price tag, so I think all told, this is a pretty good deal. I've got a small number of presses in stock for release, and then after that, they're gonna be print on demand, so just be aware that there'll be a slight lead time. The print files are gonna be 7 bucks a pop, with a little bit of a discount if you buy all 3 together. And if you're broke, well, the free version is still free. But if you're not broke, I put a ton of R&D into these designs, and the support really would mean the world. Buy your boy a beer. I have got to shout out my supporters over on Patreon who have bought me a handful of beers, and more importantly than that, they have kept me flush with materials so that I can develop projects like this. I actually just did a giveaway over there for some of the prototypes that I made as I was developing this system, so they've got a chance to get a little piece of Good Roads history. If you'd like to support, there will be a link down in the description below. One more thing before I go, the Fingerboard community has been adamant about one thing. You guys want to see me make a fingerboard wheel mold. It is by far the most requested project that I get on this channel, and I want you to know I'm working on it. So subscribe if you want to see that or any number of other awesome DIY board sport projects. And until then, grab yourself some presses, grab yourself some files, get out there and make some boards. I love having you along for the ride, so until next time, I'll see you soon. Three different options for your concave profile. So, damn it, I hate being a salesperson.